after a year, it's okay to have lazy sex.
Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS who were well. Peace and salutations to the Lake Akim on the four corners, pushing the truth and sincerity. Peace be unto you and Shalom. You know, I want to do this video basically about this video clip that you see.
At what point is it okay for me and my spouse to have lazy sex? To be honest, in my past relationship, because I've only been in one real one, that was a relationship filled with lazy sex all the time. And I'm just saying that because we've been together for 3 years. 3 years. Yes, that man had a high sex drive, so we were having sex all the time. And after a while, that shit gets boring. Like, I can't do it every day. My sex drive wasn't as high as his.
They're having a serious debate amongst each other of when it's okay to basically give lazy half-ass sex. And that is literally the reason why a man is supposed to have more than one woman. If a woman can't match that man's sex drive, then he got another woman. He got a concubine. He got another woman on the side. And everybody's happy. But if you are a woman and you dead set on, oh, I just want to have sex for 5 minutes and that's it, get up and leave. Well, that works if the man wants to have sex for that around that amount of time. But if he's a Rolling Stone, that's not about to work.
So it was like, all right, he would come pick me up from school, because we both went to school and worked in Queens. So he would come pick me up and we would go to his house and he would just be ready. Like, he was always ready. And I was just like, I'm tired. I just had a long day of school. Like, yeah, I would give him a little something, or I'd be like, okay, just real quick. And I would literally make it 5 minutes. Well, he could last just 5 minutes because he was quick. So,
better for you.
I know, better for me. Listen, I just did what I could. Just so he busts a nut, I would be good and I'd be tired. I'd roll back around, sleep, or continue doing what I was doing, homework, TV, whatever. And that was it. Call it a day. Call it George.
Okay, guys, in my opinion, after a year, it's okay to have lazy sex, because in one relationship I was in, we never really had lazy sex. Like, it was like, we tried to have, like, all right, let's have a quickie on the couch, and it turned into a fucking marathon, and I was tight. Like, I just wanted to have a quickie, and it was just like and then the last relationship I was in, after a year, it was just like, okay, but that situation's a little different, because it was just like, I wasn't really feeling him maybe around that time. So I really feel like it's y'all sexual drive and y'all sexual chemistry. Like, it's just like, y'all can have 2-minute sex and it'll be fucking great. Y'all can have 5-minute sex and it'll be fucking great. Like, sometimes it's just like, sometimes being in one position the whole time you having sex could be considered lazy sex, but it's popping instead of this nigga trying to put you in 7 positions in 7 minutes. Like, chill out. So it's just like, it's up to the couple and their sexual drive and like their chemistry together. But I say after a year, to me, because that's what I've been through, it's okay to be like, all right, let's just have this quickie right quick. And if I don't bust a nut, maybe you could just finger pop me right quick, or maybe I could just suck your dick in the morning and you could just bust. Like, after a year, I feel like it's reasonable.
At what point in a relationship is it okay to have lazy sex? All the ladies, y'all are given time frames in the relationship that y'all have been together, but I'm going to just go with times of the day. It's okay to have lazy sex early in the morning. That's my favorite time to have lazy sex, because I'm asleep. I don't like being woke out of my sleep. So if he want to just slide in while I'm sleeping, he's going to get lazy sex. I'm not going to move. I'm going to pretend I'm asleep because I don't want him to get too crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to let him do his thing. Another time lazy sex is okay is when we're filthy drunk. I've been filthy drunk to the point I'm numb. Like we got fucked up tonight. And I had to stop him from eating the coochie, and he was just hitting it. I said, babe, you got 5 seconds, and I'm tapping out. And I had to stop him from eating the coochie, and he was just hitting it. I said, babe, you got 5 seconds, and I'm tapping out. I said, babe, you got 5 seconds, and I'm tapping out. I said, babe, you got 5 seconds, and I'm tapping out. I said, babe, you got 5 seconds, and I'm tapping out. So lazy sex is okay when I'm drunk. When I'm drunk.
Everything isn't about always what you want to do. Sometimes it's about being selfless and what does the other person want to do.
Lazy sex is okay when I first wake up in the morning. Lazy sex is cool when we're mad at each other too. Because it's like, especially if you, I can't speak for nobody else, but like, if he's the type of dude, like, I don't want to go fuck nobody else, and you don't want to go fuck nobody else, but we're mad at each other. Let's just get this nut out the way. So those are the periods of time that I feel like lazy sex is good, because it's not even how long I've been with you. It's the temperature. Like, what's going on? Why am I being lazy while we're having sex? Me personally, I'm not going to say I'm naturally a lazy person in bed, but I be liking the man to do his thing. Do your thing. Do your thing. Like, start it off and do your thing. Now, there's the occasions where I'm just going to hop on it and take it. But, yeah, he's doing his thing. I'm a bend over queen. Just start there. Bend me over. Get crazy. Do your thing. I'm going to let you lead. You know what I'm saying? So it's always, lazy sex is cool to me. I don't want the marathon. I always meet men who want to fuck for hours, and I always have to break it down to them afterwards. I'm like, who told you that? Who said I wanted to be fucked for mad long? I'm cool with, I said, let's have sex, and I want to see what time we start and what time we finish, okay? He said, I could fuck you for hours. Okay. I said, hours to you is really, and real sex time, let me just tell you, sex time is different than real time. And sex time, you think you fucked for an hour, but it was 15 minutes. So I said, okay, do your thing. We do it. I looked at the clock. It was 8 o'clock. He didn't even know I clocked the time. When we finished, it was 8:15. He said, yeah, you see that? It's 8:15, my bro. It's 8:15. You understand? I don't know women, this must have happened in the locker room in high school where y'all was like, yeah, you gotta hit it for mad low, and she's gonna think you the Minuteman. When Missy made that song, I don't want no Minuteman, it gassed everybody. I like the Minuteman. I like, not the 1 minute, but the minutes, man. Man. I like him. You understand what I'm saying? Get in, get out, do your thing. Because after a while, the vagina goes retarded. I don't know about y'all, my vagina goes retarded after a while. Like, you don't flip me over, you don't move me to the side, you don't did all of this, and she's like, that's how the pussy go.
With the dryness.
No, I don't know about dry. My pussy it could be soaking, and that's why probably he's still going, because he's like, she's wet, she must be really ready to keep going. Nah, just because my vagina's wet doesn't mean anything. I'm a person who I just feel like I'm cool with lazy sex. I don't need the craziness. You know what I'm saying? Bend me over on the kitchen island. Do me there. A little quick wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. You know what I mean? Suck a little dick in the car. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. I like those. Those are some more fun. I like spurts. Like, you know, runners? I'm like one of those runners. Like, either you're a track star who want to run a mile or a sprinter.
Solomon, you read 1 Kings chapter 11 verse 3. Solomon had 700 concubines, 300 wives. That's not a man who having sex every blue moon for 5 minutes. He's not having all these wives to get to know them personally and sit and, chill and talk to them. Let me talk to you. No. They're his toy, they're his pleasure. Have sex. That's what a woman is for. Multiply to be a helpmate and to have sex. Your pleasure. That's your escape from the world. So this is issues that you'll have having a woman. Or some issues you may have. For the brothers that don't have this issue, that's a blessing. But there's some brothers who will have this issue. You have endometriosis. Some women experience this.
And we're we're back now with the latest in our ongoing series focused on women's wellness. Endometriosis is a disease that affects 1 in 10 women worldwide. Its origin is unknown, and women can go years without being diagnosed.
That's right. But now women are speaking up. Celebrities like Lena Dunham and Susan Sarandon have all shared their personal stories.
And thanks for being here today, Adrienne.
Absolutely.
So why don't we get started? If you could maybe tell me some of the ways that endo can impact a woman's sex life.
Well, one of the big ones, of course, is pain. So one way that endometriosis can affect a woman's sex life is pain, particularly with penetrative sexual activity. And so obviously that can make a woman not want to have sexual activity, even pain with other times, so not during sex, but pain from other activities or pain at other times of the month, that might have a big impact on a woman's sexual desire and impact her in that way.
Okay. So you mentioned that sometimes women will actually stop having intercourse altogether or stop any sexual activity.
Yeah, so certainly pain during penetrative sexual activities might make a woman obviously want to stop those activities,
Right.
but it also might make her avoid all sexual activities, right? Because everything sort of gets lumped in together, right? Everything gets associated, penetrative sexual activity just becomes all sex. Right? That it just gets lumped into the same basket, right? Everything becomes associated with sex, becomes associated with pain. And that kind of makes sense, right? Because we also have a big bias in our society. When people say sex, they tend to mean penis and vagina sex.
Sure, yeah.
Especially for heterosexuals, but even for non-heterosexuals, there's this bias that when we talk about sex that people mean penetrative sexual activity.
For sure,
right?
yeah.
And so sometimes, women with endo will start avoiding all sexual activity, even the things that don't hurt.
Right. So can you...
And for that reason, they don't want to have sex or half-ass give you sex. These are all troubles in the flesh that you are going to experience. Nobody in their right mind is going to be like, all right, okay, I'm with this woman and I like her. Just think about how much Jacob, loved his wife, that he worked, 14 years and then another 7 years for basically the sheep. He didn't do all that just to have sex for 5 minutes every blue moon. You love your wife. You want to be with her. You can't get enough of her. But if she want every now and then, all right, fine. How about we solve this matter? I'll have something on the side. Everything works. That's why this whole concept that IUIC and other camps push that you're supposed to be basically one man and one wife. No, that doesn't work for everybody. That's not how this earth was designed. You take on basically as many as you can afford to take care of, also as many as you want at that point. So if you can afford 2 wives and you want 2 wives, hey, then that's what it is. The scripture talks about your husband duties aren't supposed to basically be diminished. You ain't supposed to, all right, if you was, providing for her X, Y, and Z, now suddenly you compromise what you was given to her just to make room for another woman. Scripture talks about that. But this is literally why a man is supposed to have more than one woman. So I'm going to grab some of these precepts. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 1. Now concerning the things wherefore ye wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. So basically, elaborating on that verse, the scripture talks about in Genesis, the first commandment that was given unto man was be fruitful and multiply. That was a commandment. Paul is stating over here, hey, If you don't want to be fruitful and multiply, hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. That's cool. We not in that time where everybody just get a woman and just have children. No. He's saying that's fine. He's basically stating that that verse does not apply to everybody in every setting in Genesis. Reading on verse 2. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband. The wife have not power of her own body, but the husband. And likewise also the husband have not power of his own body, but the wife. Defraud ye not one the other, except it be with consent for a time, that ye may give yourselves to fasting and prayer, and come together again, and Satan tempt you not for your incontinency. So this verse in verse 5 is basically talking about defraud not. If your woman wants to have sex with you, it's not just your body, it's her body. Your body's not just your body, it's hers, and likewise. So she's entitled to have sex with you. Likewise, you are entitled to have sex with her. It's not supposed to be a power trip where you using sex as leverage to get what you want out of a relationship. That is not what it's supposed to be used for. That's why it says defraud not, unless y'all both come together and say, all right, just for this time, we're not going to have sex. We're going to spend time praying and fasting, staying away from the lust of each other. That's what that's talking about. So and that goes also, if a man want to have sex for more than 5 minutes, and that's all you got, you're supposed to give it to him. You're supposed to actually make sacrifice. Doesn't he sacrifice for you? Y'all supposed to sacrifice for each other. Everything isn't about always what you want to do. Sometimes it's about being selfless and what does the other person want to do. Verse 6, but I speak this by permission and not of commandment. Verse 7, I would that all men were even as myself, but every man have his proper gift of God, one after this manner and another after that. So Paul basically was a eunuch. So he said, I'd love if every man was just like me. But realistically speaking, everybody's not going to be like that. And also realistically speaking, the whole nation of Israel couldn't be that because we wouldn't be able to repopulate with each other. And we'd all die out. So at the end of the day, there's going to be some people that are eunuchs, some people that are not eunuchs. That's how it's supposed to be. Verse 7, again, for I would that all men were even as I myself, but every man hath his proper gift of God, one after this manner and another after that. I say therefore to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them if they abide even as I, meaning being celibate and unmarried. Verse 9, but if they cannot contain, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn. So if they cannot contain their lust, because there's some people that can contain it. They can control their sexual drive, their sexual urges. There's some people that cannot. They actually have to have sex. They got to have a woman. They got to have a man. They need somebody. There's people that are like that. So he says it's better to marry than to burn. And that burn is talking about burning in lust. Not talking about burning in the lake of fire. It's better for you to marry than to just burn in desire and passion and constantly thinking about it and constantly trying to fight it off. Because it's actually natural. There's nothing wrong with it. So he's basically saying, embrace it. You can't fight it. You at a certain age, as boys, you get erections for no reason when you're growing up. So that spirit of actually basically wanting to have sex is actually natural. There's some people who actually can overcome it. How Shai did, and some people they're led by it. They can't overcome it. So you just embrace it. Because you don't want to spend every minute and every waking second of your day trying to fight that spirit. Verse 10, and unto the married I command, yet not I, but Yahweh, let not the wife depart from her husband. So now he's saying, I'm not speaking as a man. If you married, do not say, oh, okay, well, Paul said, I want y'all to be like me. No, he's saying, no. Y'all married, y'all stay married. I speak that not as a man. I speak that's the commandment from Yahweh. You're supposed to stay married. Reading on. And if she depart, let her remain unmarried, or be reconciled to her husband. And let not the husband put away his wife. But to the rest speak I not, Yahweh, if any brother hath a wife that believe not, and she is pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away. So if you got a woman, if you're in this truth, you're not supposed to go and say, hey, you just throw you away for whatever reason. Oh, she don't believe. It doesn't matter. You stay with your wife. And again, as you can imagine, if you believe and your wife doesn't believe, you can imagine troubles that you're going to have. All of a sudden you wake up and you're a newborn creature. John John the 3rd chapter. You're born again. You're a new person. You're not eating pork chops no more. All the stuff that she had was eating and cooking for you. But she doesn't believe. So she's doing all the worldly stuff. And you're not going to be able to convert her to be a Hebrew Israelite woman overnight. It might not be her, lot to do that. Maybe you can only get her to, don't cook pork in my house. Don't do this. Don't do that. You're not going to get her to throw on fringes, wear a dress all the time. That's not your battle. If she don't believe, she don't believe. This walk is for you. Verse 13, and the woman which hath an husband that believe not, and if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him. So vice versa. Verse 14, for the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. Else were our children unclean, but now they are holy. So he's also going to say, hey, you might have an unbelieving man with an unbelieving wife, but how he conducts himself over time, that might convert her and make her change. And the same way, if a woman, she believes in the truth and her husband don't, she can sanctify him. Because now, like, oh, okay, I see this change my wife for the better. She's no longer smoking cigarettes. She no longer, engaged in all these bad habits. There's something to this, let me go follow after her. So you sanctified. So the husband is sanctified by the wife. I'm gonna skip up to verse, because I'm not gonna read the whole chapter. Mike can get on the rest of the chapter in another date, or the other verses 15 and above. But I wanted to read verse 27. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 27. Art thou bound unto a wife? Seek not to be loosed. So don't, if you got a wife, don't try to get rid of her. Don't look for every instance to get rid of her. That's your wife. Reading on. Art thou loosed from her wife? So are you not married? Reading on. Seek not a wife. So whatever your state is at, that's be that. He's basically saying, if you come in this truth and you don't got a wife, don't get a wife. If you come in this truth and you got a wife, don't try to get rid of her. This is basically what he's saying. Verse 28, but if thou marry, thou hast not sinned. So he's saying, all right, but if you come in this truth and you don't have a wife and you decide that you change your mind, you want to get married and have kids, you ain't did nothing wrong. Reading on. And if thou marry, thou hast not sinned. And if a virgin marry, she have not sinned. Nevertheless, such shall have trouble in the flesh, but I spare you. So the trouble in the flesh, there's so much stuff that can happen just by you being married. There's, especially in nowadays, more than ever, kids, divorce, even though it says don't let them depart, sometimes it happens. Sometimes it has to happen. But that's the thing about this thing. You're supposed to actually have, you're supposed to love, you know, your wife like how should I love the church, and vice versa. But realistically, if you look, Israel got a lot of work to do amongst them, each other individually, and we got a lot to do work to do as a nation. Chances are, it's not, it's not you. Chances are you're gonna have plenty of trouble, and the trouble part will be trying to do this work and be married, because the marriage might be fine, but now you gotta sacrifice. I don't want to, celebrate, Christmas and Thanksgiving with you. I don't want to, put up Christmas trees, and I gotta take Saturdays off. Your woman may or may not understand that. She may not understand you going to a fellowship, or all of a sudden a brother's in need, and now you gotta help him. These are troubles that's in the flesh that you're gonna have. And on that note, I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Kakwadash, that belongs to elders of GMS who are well. Peace and salutations, and Shalom.